Welcome to the Love Connect podcast. My name is Kanika,
My name is Vanita.
and we are back for another show. So, if you are new to the show, which you may be because it's kind of the new show, welcome. My name is Kanika, and we do this show on Wednesday nights at 7:30. If you don't mind subscribing because my channel is new, this podcast is new, and we are growing it every day. So we'd appreciate your support. Also, hit the notification bell because we do this show sometimes on the weekends, or we might do a pop up show. So you'll be notified when we go live. Okay, so tonight I want to welcome some of our friends to the show. Um, they have joined us tonight to ask meaning thee and Vanita, some questions because we always invite them on and uh, question them to the death. So I just figured that it was only right that we turn it around and let them ask us anything they want to know. As well, any of you, if you have any questions, you can click the link and join the show. It's in the chat. Also, if you don't want to join, you can drop your questions in the chat on Facebook or in the chat on YouTube if you have a question. If not, then when they get finished with their questions, we'll end the show. If so, I will answer your questions after we get through whatever questions my amazing friends may have tonight. So welcome y'all. Welcome all of y'all. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. We're gonna go ahead and jump right in because we know we got things to do. So we'll go ahead and start with the top. Our friend Chris. You got the floor.
Oh. Hey everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
I was sitting here and I was thinking I was trying to write a question that come up. But since the show is called Love Kanique, I thought that would be a good starter to ask how you two ladies, and y'all can pick whatever order, uh, plan on plans for marriage. Do y'all plan on getting married? And has, I guess it'll be a two-part question. And
Okay.
has y'all
Okay.
time doing the podcast changed any views that y'all have or learned anything that has now obscured your view of marriage or brightened your view of it
Oh, okay.
as
Good
far as what
question.
you look forward to?
Okay. Good question. I'll let Vanita start.
So the beginning part of the question, what can you repeat the beginning, the
The
first part?
beginning is do you plan on uh, do you have plans of getting married or would you want to get married? And have you learned anything differently since you've been doing the podcast that has brought some new view or perspective to marriage and the possibility of getting married or not getting
So yes, I do plan on getting married. As far as the perspective from the show on what it has brought, it has not skewed my thought process of getting married. It has enlightened me more on just self-reflecting and understanding what it is that I'm looking for when it comes to marriage. So I'm not just looking to get into marriage just for a title. Like I'm looking for a connection. And throughout our show and the guests that we've had on, from the men to the women, it has helped me broaden and open up my thought process even more on things that I should look for, boundaries I may should be creating more so for myself, so that the right person I do draw in to get married.
Okay. Guess it's my turn now. Is that good, Chris?
Yes. I was about to
Kanika?
say, is that what you was looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I would love to get married one day. First I gotta find a boyfriend. That means I gotta actually go on a date, which means I gotta stop taking naps, right? Yeah. Ain't gonna never have no man, y'all. I can't even get out of bed and get go on a date because I need sleep all the goddamn time. But yes, I would love to get married one day. I'm looking forward to it. Has the what has the podcast did as far as my view of marriage? Actually, the podcast has given me a better understanding of men when you gentlemen come on and we talk to you all and you give your perspectives on things, and sometimes y'all say things and I never thought about it in that kind of a way, or I never thought about it from that perspective. So it's enlightened me a little more about men and how y'all think and all of those things. So I think it's been for me a positive view more of what's to come when I do get married. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting your somebody. Take me out the game. Somebody. So
Oh
yeah,
man.
yes, it's marriage I'm looking forward to, and the podcast has not skewed me about the commitment at any level. So yeah, good question. Got another one for us, Chris?
Y'all both said y'all men have helped with y'all perspective or understanding of men. Could y'all tell us one of the things that men have brought to life for you that you didn't have prior to? One of the things.
Okay. Um, you want me to go?
Yeah,
I
you
I
know.
can say for me, I realized that y'all got feelings. It's a long
That's a
time.
good one. That's a
For
good
a
one.
long time. For a long time. I didn't know if it was in there for y'all. I didn't know. But y'all came on and showed me that you actually do have feelings and you feel things and go through things and get sad. And all of those things, and expressing that, particularly on the men's panel, kind of gave me a little bit. I was kind of hard on y'all for a bit, so I kind of lightened up a little bit as far as knowing that they're in there. Y'all might not show them all the time or express them, but they're in there. So that's what's changed for me.
I would say for myself, it is that some of y'all do want to get married. It seemed like for a while, everybody was like, nah, nah, nah. But it is actually some men out there, although the percentage may be kind of tiny, but it's a percentage out there that do want to get married.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
definitely. All right. All right. We'll come back to you, Chris. If you have another one, we're going to go to Otto. We'll come on back around. What you got, Otto?
Hey, ladies.
Hi.
Um, I've always wondered really what made you want to start a podcast. And because when Vanita told me she was going to do a podcast, I was like, wait, you want to be on the internet? Like talking? Really? Okay. So,
Yeah.
really, what made you want to start it? And how have you grown with the production side and, you know, looking at the numbers and things like that? How's that part been running the whole show per se?
Well, good question. That's a very question. It's a two-part answer to this question. The first part is the Nita and I always, since we've been friends for the last 17 years, we always have these deep conversations about everything, life, love, spirituality, just everything. And I think because we are able to get so deep, we go under the surface with a lot of things. I just thought that it would be good for us to share the conversations that we have, with other people, with the world. Because sometimes I feel like women, and I'm saying women because I think that would be my core audience, feel like what they're going through, no one else is going through, or what they're feeling, no one else is feeling. So I thought it would be helpful, to just bring our conversations about what the experience of being a Black woman is, and everything that we endure, and the growth and the ups and downs and highs and lows and joys and sorrows. I thought that would be beneficial to bring that to a public platform. That's the first part of it. The second part is I was called to do it by God. So I'll make a long ass story short. But when I was about 25 years old, God started calling me to the ministry against my will, because the last thing I wanted to ever do or thought I would do is be talking to people about life and what's going on in life, because at the time I didn't really care what other people did, thought, or I was just doing my own thing. So God started calling me, to the ministry. And as the years had passed, it took a minute for me to accept my calling. And because fear and unworthiness, I had to fight through that fear and feeling like I'm just not worthy of the position. So, from 25 up until about, I would say, my late 30s, I've kind of been dealing with accepting of who God has called me to be, and fighting the fear of just stepping out there and doing it. So, um, it's one day I said, I've got to step into my purpose. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm wasting time. I know everything in my life, all my blessings will come from walking in my divine purpose. So I finally got up the nerve to create my YouTube channel and start this show. And what I do know, Otto, is for me, this whole journey of purpose and walking in my purpose and discovering my purpose what I've learned is it's a step-by-step journey, and God reveals each step like as I go. And I knew one of the first steps was to start my YouTube channel, and everything else will align, every where I need to go, who I need to align with for this, and Vanita is one. And our friendship is purposed, but that's a story for another day. But everything will align with this thing that I'm doing as time goes on. The audience will align. The people who are supposed to hear me and hear this message and connect with me, they will come. My tribe will align. Everything will align because it always has. The only thing I need to do is keep walking forward and trust um, the purpose God has bestowed upon me. So that's it in a nutshell.
For me, it was, first of all, Kanika asked me to be on and let me know that it was going to be pretty much our conversations that we have day in and day out. So it was okay. And then once we started, my main goal was to deliver the message of the experience of having kids, because I feel like in our society, we put out false information on what the experience is like. Um, I feel like that if we're more informed, if women are more informed, and even men on women's perspective regarding having kids, we would think twice before we just quickly make these decisions, because the state of the way our society looks right now is just not healthy. So it's like, how do we change the narrative? And a lot of podcasters that I have seen on YouTube, we're at war with one another as opposed to just really discussing what it's like day in and day out to parent. So it was necessary to me to deliver that information to the younger generation, and even to the young ladies now. And I noticed that in our friend group, even when we're discussing it within our friend group, a lot of our friends may seem like, well, you know, that's opposite of what, everybody's saying, or what do you mean by that, when I'm telling them how I'm really feeling about the experience. So I felt like if, within our friend group they was feeling that way, then I'm sure it's a whole bunch of people in society that's feeling that way too. So it's to let women know that you're not alone. Like it's okay to voice your opinion and how you feel about things. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm on.
It's funny because when Vanita talked about really being honest about what parenting the experience has been like, every time the few women who I've seen who have been brave enough to tell the truth about what motherhood has been for them, and it's not for everybody. Karina, my friend Karina, who's under the box in front of me, she loves motherhood. So this is not for everybody. But there are
Mm-hmm.
tons of women who has really struggled with the experience of motherhood. And Vanita has really always been honest and upfront about, the sacrifice, of what it's like to be a parent, and definitely a single parent. And I thought that would be, like she said, it's an important conversation because, like I said, the few times women have come forth, it's just like a flood of women in comments or commenting on the post or the video, saying that just relieved because they thought that they were alone in their feelings. They thought that something was wrong with them. They were defective because
Mm-hmm.
they weren't enjoying the experience, or they were struggling, or they felt unfulfilled or depressed or trapped. I hear that a lot. So I think it's good for us to present an honest, a balanced conversation. Because, like I said, I have friends who love being moms. Just a balanced conversation so that young women can make an informative decision about whether or not they want to take that journey, and not make it in a fantasy, as so many women have made it. Because of society selling this pretty picture to women about what motherhood entails. And then when they get in it, they're like, wait, what the hell? This is not what I thought it was going to be. Because the matrix of society is not going to tell you the truth, because they need women to keep birthing kids, because they need society to keep going. They need workers and they need to make money. So they're not going to tell women the truth. They got to paint a pretty picture so they can get your mind to do what they want it to do. So we just wanted it to be an honest conversation so that women can start making, choices, because some choices you cannot take back. And that's the choice of having a kid, So I agree with her. And this is our raw, unfiltered truth is what this podcast is going to be, even when it's uncomfortable, even for me, and things that, I will have talked about and we'll talk about, that are uncomfortable, but it's the truth. And it's the truth of my journey that I've been on, that we're all on. I guess this is why another reason why I'm not really ashamed of anything I've done, anything I've been through, because life is a journey of lessons, and everything we go through and everything you will go through and have been through it are growing you and evolving you and making you become the person that you're supposed to be. So there's really nothing to judge. The thing is, I want people to become more aware so that we can make choices that are more beneficial to our life, our journey, where we're trying to go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, good question. Good question. Okay. We'll come back to you again, Otto, for the next. We're going to come on to Karina. What you got, Mama? I think you're on mute, Karina.
Yeah.
No, I got it. I got it.
Okay.
All right. This is for you, Envy.
Okay.
Where do y'all see yourselves? And this might sound like a crazy question, but where do you see yourselves in 5 years? Because we've been friends for a while. And I know from the jump into where y'all at right now, where do you see yourselves in 5 years?
Are we saying as far as the podcast or just personally?
Both.
Okay. I would say personally, my daughter will be off at school. I will be more self-reflecting and self-nourishing more, much more, and evolving more is my biggest intent for myself. And as far as the podcast is concerned, I perceive that we're going to go higher. We'll be collaborating possibly with other podcasters. We will be on TV shows, because it seemed like that's the direction that, when you come to TV shows and things of that sort, they're pulling from the podcast world. Just to be able to continue this conversation more in depth, and be more informative with one another. So that's where I see it going.
Okay.
5 years. I'm like Vanita. Definitely doing the show, growing the show. And, hopefully doing speaking engagements, writing, finishing my book. Whatever the God's divine plan is for, wherever this goes, I'm on board, personally, I plan to be married in the next 5 years. I'll be 50.
Oh, that is about right. Yeah, you're right. That is 50, isn't it? I would have to co-sign with that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, so I would definitely.
That is 50. Jesus Christ. Okay.
I'm in the third, fourth quarter here. So, I would like to be married, and traveling the world with my husband, whoever he may be. You listening, husband, wherever you at. So just growing the show, walking in God, my divine purpose, doing what God's asking me to do, and spreading love and joy all over the world. That's what I plan to be doing in the next 5 years. I know you're crazy.
Well, no. You have to understand, I have officially applied as your road manager. So
you got the job.
I've already
said it several times.
Okay.
You got the job.
You got you.
Y'all hear from you here. He got the job.
Yes.
Was that good, Karina? Did we answer?
Is that yeah?
Yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just, looking and asking. Yeah. I mean, it sounds stupid. They ask you that when you're like 21 or you're in high school, whatever, or 20, you get out of college, where you see yourself. But, sometimes you got to do that when you get older too.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
you
it's a
should
good
continue
question.
self-reflecting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What
Absolutely.
you trying to do?
Absolutely. Oh, anybody, if you watching in the comments, if you have a question, if you want to ask me, Vanita, something, feel free to click the link or drop your comments, your question in the comments, and we'll answer. But okay,
Yes.
Chris, you got something else?
Touching on something y'all said earlier, I never heard y'all talk about it, but y'all might have previously. How did you and Anita become friends? How did y'all get to know each other? Where did y'all first meet? This is 17 years ago, but I'm
Yeah,
sure y'all still remember, and there's a story there.
it's definitely a story.
You want to go ahead with the story?
Okay, then I'll let you piggyback on what you remember.
All right.
So I met Vanita at a job we used to work at. I came, she was there, she was already there, and I came 2005, I think. I came there to work as a temp at the time. And it was like a call center, small call center, but a call center nonetheless. And it wasn't that many people, but it was about maybe mostly women, maybe I would say 10 women there at the time. But when I got there, she wasn't there. She was on maternity leave. So I didn't initially meet her until she came back from maternity leave. And she, when she got back, I had kind of, met all the women or whatever. Um, I noticed that when she got back, she didn't really talk to nobody or really didn't speak to nobody. So I was just like, it was kind of threw me off for a little bit. So I was like, oh, she's always seems upset. That's the that's the vibe I got from her, is that she always seemed upset. So it's just so I didn't. I'm a new girl in town, so I'm just looking, listening, and trying to fill everybody out. And I noticed that, like, it's to me, I perceived that a lot of the girls had beef with Vanita, and I was just like, what is it? Everybody got beef with this girl, this one girl, right? So we still haven't really, said anything. But to make a long story short, I don't know how the conversation came up, but I got to ask her one day. I can't remember what popped it off, but something pissed me off or something. And I asked her, I was like, why are you such a bitch? And then she was
Oh,
like,
I don't remember that part.
yes, I was at the Waffle House. You was like, we was on the phone, and you was like, nothing. You said nothing. And I was just like, you're always mad. You don't speak to nobody. What's wrong with you? Like, you just always have a bad attitude. You like, bring the thing down. And then she told me her story. I don't know why she told me her story, but then she told me her story. So I was like, okay, I get it now. Coming up with, no mother, no father. I get it. Okay, I get it. So then I had a whole lot of compassion for her. So to make a long story short, then something happened with a guy that she was dating, and I was dating a guy. The same thing had happened, and so she was going through something with him, and I said I understood, and we kind of related on that level. And then we just started talking, and we bonded. We've been friends ever since. That's a short version of a long story.
Yeah.
It's a long
For the
story.
most part. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been friends ever since. So it's kind of how it happened.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have no more to add to that, Chris. That was that pretty much summed it up for the most part. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have another question, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna let everybody else go, but
Okay.
marriage then came up a couple times, so I was gonna keep with the running theme.
Okay.
in asking, what do y'all see in this modern time how things have changed? Understanding what it is to be in a traditional marriage of uh, the man works, the woman home, kids. And I'm in the same age group as y'all in my mid 40s.
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all see the makeup of the relationship now opposed to if it would have been more of a traditional in the beginning, like you got married in your 20s and had kids? For us, that's not how it's going to run. It's going to be more emphasis and more focus on the two people in the union coming together. How do y'all see that playing out, and what is important, y'all think, in this part of our lives as far as marriage goes, opposed to what it would have been prior to, now that kids are not going to be
That's a
They
good
better have a
question.
trap
part of the
passport.
equation,
That's a good
you
question.
know?
You will be correct, Otto.
That's a good question. I'll let V go
Yeah.
first.
I would have to say for me, first and foremost, connectivity and communication is going to be extremely important for me. In order to make it work. I think it's imperative for both parties, myself and my husband, to have our own personal lives. And when I say that, whatever your calling is for you, whatever you perceive your life consists of, and your purpose in this world, and I will continue in my purpose. And we're able to find time on a consistent basis to connect with one another. And travel is huge, huge, huge for me. Travel is huge. So to me, those things are what's going to be necessary in order to connect. And communication, because although the kids aren't here, most of us have kids, and depending on the individual, it's necessary to include their kids with certain things. If there's obstacles or trials and tribulations that the kids may have in their lives, I think it's necessary to have conversation with one another on how we're going to move in those environments. Um, but I think those conversations have to be had early on so we can have an understanding and continue to update one another on it, because of course we're human, so people's perspective and lives and all those type of things change constantly. Hey, Kiera. So yeah, those type of things are necessary.
Okay. So to your first part of your question, Chris, uh, I think the difference is, like you said, had we got married and had kids young, or the traditional way, I guess that's what you're saying, versus now where there's no kids. I truly believe that uh I think that I don't think people should, even then before the internet and all of that. I don't think people should get married and have kids young. I just feel like you don't know yourself. You don't really know anything about life. You haven't experienced nothing. You haven't found yourself. Everything is matrix based. You're making all your decisions based on what society said, and even getting married and having kids. Because I know someone who did it every step right out of grad school, did the whole
Mhm.
thing, got married, had the kid, and the marriage still failed fairly early. And I think it's because we haven't allowed ourselves enough time and growth to bring another soul into the world, on top of trying to navigate what a relationship is. Because when you're young, you're
You
thinking a
don't know
relationship
yourself.
is what you see in the movies or what you saw on a TV show. You don't know what it's really like to be in the day to day, and then on top of that, be a mom. And try to navigate that. So I personally feel like it's better to do it now, even if you
Mhm.
had children, since they're gone, because it's even harder for a relationship when, there's children in it. And I know a lot of people don't believe that, because you can't focus on each other. Some time and energy has to go to the children, particularly when they're little, so that, it's only 24 hours in a day. She got to work, she got to sleep, so when it, got to take care of the kids, got to cook, when is it time to nurture your husband or nurture your boyfriend? So I actually feel like it's a better chance to do it older, getting to a marriage, when the kids are grown, if you had them young. Um, so you and your husband or you and your wife can do your thing, and you can focus on each other and put all the time and attention on each other. So I think it's better now this way, honestly, than it would have been doing it the traditional way. I know most people who get married young and
Oh,
have kids, they get divorced by thirty
okay.
by
I
the
didn't understand the first part of the question. Chris, were you
No, I
asking,
was
do we think it's better to
no,
at
I wasn't
early
asking
on?
if it was better. Was just
Okay.
more so is, and Vanita covered it while answering or while saying what she was saying, that the focus is on each other. Because what I was asking about is where where are you putting basically the importance of y'all relationship, um, with dealing with each other, because it's easy when you, I ain't gonna say it's easy, but it's different when the focus is again the kids or family. But when you get married later and you're in your 40s, y'all really gotta like each other because it's just gonna be y'all. The
Okay.
kids
fact.
aren't a part of it. The kids are not keeping you together, and you got to focus on that thing that is. When it does
Yes,
get hard or tough, you don't have to say, "Oh, we got this together, that together." It's y'all wanting to do it and wanting to be there. So I was asking, um, whereas, and I think even people that have been married, let's say 20, 25 years, once the kids leave the house and it's just them two, what happens? I think that would be great to understand that part of it with a lot of people that have been married. What were the new hurdles that they started dealing with now that the house was empty and it was just those two people?
that's
Because
a
I think
good
that'll be
question.
some of the things that
It is.
we're going to deal with as people who get married for the first time or maybe even the second time after you got an empty house and it's just you and your spouse. So
or 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 even when it's just you. What are you gonna do when there are no children? Let's just say you weren't get married, and you're used to being y'all been used to being parents forever. So how do you
Hmm.
find your new identity, as someone who now
right.
whose child has left the nest? I think that's even a good question to pose, to parents or whatever.
Yeah. It's a
Um
process because you're basically your fun muscle shrinks. It's like atrophy. Like it, and this coming from experience who my twin daughters have just 2 years ago went into college, and then I found myself having to focus on that exact thing because everything,
yeah,
most of the things surrounded my world was surrounded about them and what was going on in their lives. And then I found myself
absolutely.
with time and space.
Definitely. Definitely. I think we should do a show on that because that's a big thing, particularly at this age, because most people kids are grown or growing up and about to leave or, on the verge of or already have. So how do you transition from parenting all the time to back to, just focusing on yourself? So that's actually a very good question. I do have a question in the comments. Vixie wants to know, and this for me and Vanita, how do
Hmm.
you deal with women that want to force their traditional opinions on us, if that makes sense? So, how do we deal with, and when she says that, she means like, women are supposed to be a wife and they're supposed to be a mother and they're supposed to cook and clean, the traditional
Hmm.
things. How
Yeah.
do how do you deal with when women try to push that on you? Like, how do you deal with that?
For myself, I just hold strong to what my beliefs are. So I'm not anybody that has dated me. No, I'm not one to I'm not big on cooking. Like that's not something that I'm quick to do. Not to say that I can't do it or I won't do it, but that's not something that I'm quick to do. So as far as what other females have to say about it, I really don't care because for me it's me and whomever I'm with. And fortunately the gentleman that I have dated, it hasn't been a huge deal for them. or they haven't said, if it was, they didn't say anything to me about it. It wasn't a deal breaker. Um, but for the most part, I just honor who I am, regardless of what the world says, is how I move.
And for me, it's kind of the same thing. The Dixie, I live, I'll listen, and I even understand why they feel that way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you've been programmed to believe a certain race or a certain sex are supposed to do this, that, and the other, when that's been all you've known, this all society has told you, and that's all you've seen in the media and TV shows. I understand why they say that, so it doesn't really bother me. But I'm live and let live, and I tell her, if
Yeah.
that works for you, that works for you. Now,
Mm-hmm.
would I do some of the traditional things that women do? Of course, I don't mind
Of
cooking.
course. Yeah.
I don't mind cooking and doing stuff like that, but I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna be in no box for anybody. I'm not gonna, because I'm a woman, you do this, that, and the other. Because I don't have kids. I didn't want none, and that's a big thing that people. Well, you're a woman. Why do I get that question all the time? Why wouldn't you have kids? That's what you put here for. No, that ain't what I'm put here for. And if y'all want to do it, that's fine and well, but that's not what I'm put here for. I don't want to do that. So I do what's best for me, and I allow women and whoever else to do what's best for them. If being a
Mm-hmm.
traditional wife and cooking and having a bunch of kids, if that's what you want to do, that makes you happy, then hey, I'm happy for you. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, I live by my own rules. I make my own rules. I don't care what
Mm-hmm.
anybody says. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And if it goes against
Exactly.
society, oh well, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So that's kind of how I handle it. I
Yeah.
say, okay, that's good for you, but that ain't good for me. So she laughing.
Exactly.
Thank you, dear, for the question. If you have any other questions,
Yes.
drop them in the comments. We're gonna go to you, Karina. What you got?
All right. Do y'all consider yourselves high vibrational or low vibrational?
Hi. I consider myself vibrational.
It depends on when you catch me. I try to be high vibrational sometimes, but y'all see my Facebook. Sometimes I have to get real low. I have to get real low with my Facebook friends. They be coming through your girl. They be coming through your girl. I have to get down with them. I have to get to the box with them. So I try to stay high. I try to stay high because I know that's what God wants me to. I have to try to stay in the light and be a light, in people's lives. So I try to my best to be honest, and to love everybody and not be judgmental. I don't have my moments, but yeah, I would consider for the most part, I try to vibrate high, but I do have my moments. I must admit. I must
Okay.
admit. Good question. Good question. You got one more for us, Karina? While you down here?
Yeah. What is your biggest dream or desire for yourself? For you yourself, not the podcast, whatever. If it incorporates that, okay, fine. But what's your biggest dream or desire for yourself that you have not achieved yet?
Not
To be
Go ahead.
ultimately happy and at peace. That is my ultimate dream for me.
Okay, that's good. My ultimate dream is to not my biggest dream and wish for myself is to complete the mission that God has handed to me in this lifetime. That's my biggest wish and dream, to do God's will and to do it to the best of my ability, and put everything I have into it, until the day I leave this earth. So, if I can, get on the other side whenever I leave this earth and God says to me, job well done, then that's all I want. That's all I want.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Otto, we're gonna come back to you. What you got?
So, what type of feedback have you been getting from not only your friends but from people who are just catching you on the podcast?
Oh. Okay. I'll let Vinita go for that first.
What kind of feedback have we been getting? I don't really view the comments and things of that sort. Kanika is really running majority of the podcast as opposed to myself right now. As far as our friends are concerned, it they tend to ask a lot of questions, or give suggestions on what they feel like we may, topics that we should talk about. But this conversation that me and Kanika have, we have in the presence of them a lot of times. So they're used to it. Most of them, they know kind of how the conversations go. We
Yeah.
have them in our group settings, our brunches and things of that sort. We bring up the same type of topics that me and her discuss, and we all discuss them together. So they're used to it, majority of them.
Yeah. I get a lot of feedback in the comments, and friends and family. They like the show. They like they like the commentary. They like that we're honest. I've also heard that we've given them a different perspective on things, or they didn't see it that way, or a different awareness of things. So so far I've gotten great feedback, and I know this show will grow, and it'll get out there kind of new. We only do it once a week right now.
Yeah,
So,
right
but
now.
yeah, I'm getting good feedback. Every time I go somewhere to a gathering, it come up. I watch your
That's true.
show. I'm like, oh Lord, what I say?
That's true.
What I don't see it on this show. So yeah, I'm getting good feedback. And I enjoy doing like it's easy for us because this is normal.
Yeah,
We just
normal. We
talking. We
talk.
just turn on the camera. We
Yep.
talk for hours sometimes about
Yes.
everything. So it's for us. It's just we just turn on the camera. That's the only thing that's different.
Yep.
So yeah, good feedback. Good question. Good question, Otto. Chris, what you got?
My question was similar to Otto's question. I was going to ask, let's say, have y'all kind of been confronted by any family or strangers or friends about some of the positions that y'all have taken or took that they didn't know that or wasn't aware that you felt that way prior to the podcast and them learning more about you? Did they come back to y'all and for a further understanding of how you feel or stand on a certain point that has altered like
I
y'all's relationship, could have made you closer or could have pulled you apart?
I actually have, Chris. I had a show called, and this is a specific uh point of an example. I had a show called I Cheated. Yes, I cheated, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So on the show, I talked about cheating on my last boyfriend, and he didn't know. He listened to the show, and he found out on the show. He listened to it and found out. So I had a barbecue at my house in which he attended. And so we all kicking it, and he get a couple of shots at him, and we all just everybody's here. And all of a sudden he says out loud, yeah, and I found out she cheated on me on the show. And everybody just kind of got quiet. He's like, yeah, that hurt my heart. It just went on and on. I'm like, oh my God. And I had no idea he had even listened to it, because from the show to the cookout, it had been a couple of months. Maybe he never, and I had
Mm-hmm.
spoken to him, he never said a word. He never said nothing until that day. He just, I guess he just came out. But yeah, I've had several, mostly honestly men. I've had several of my guy friends, when I get off the show, they'll call, be like, man, why you say that about us? Or how you feel that way, whatever. I have to explain to them, it's just my experience. I'm just telling a story. I'm not trying to bash anybody or make anybody look bad. I'm just sharing my experiences. That's all it is. So to answer your question, oh yes, I definitely get feedback. I'll get off this show and somebody will call or text me and be like, what you mean by that? Or who was you talking about? Were you talking about me? So yes, I get that a lot. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm always gonna be honest, but I don't want to make anybody feel any kind of way. I don't want to be disrespectful, particularly for the people I love, my family, my friends. So, I do take that into consideration as I'm sharing my stories or I'm telling something that happened because I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable or disrespected. So, but yeah, I definitely get feedback for sure.
For myself, they brought up topics regarding things. So I've had, and it's only been males as well for me. We'll talk more in depth on whatever the topic is. And usually for me, it's regarding kids and my thought process regarding kids. So I think for men, it was unusual for a lot of my male friends. They're like, wait a minute, like I didn't expect you to, have that perspective. I think they assume that I'm going to have the stance of most females, like, oh, this is wonderful, oh, this is great, and all those type of things. So normally that's what it is for me. As far as any exes or anything like that, no, I haven't had anything beyond that, beyond the kid conversation.
Okay. Welcome, Lee
Yeah.
Allison, to the show.
Welcome, Leah.
We'll jump right on in with you. What you got, mama?
Yep.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Okay.
One is what do you value most in friendship?
Well, that's a good question.
That's a
Oh,
real
that's
good
a
one.
very good question. I'll
And
let
that's for
Benita
both of
go
you.
first. That's a very good question.
For me, honesty and transparent, being able to be transparent. I think for Kanika and I, we have been able to maintain our friendship because we're pretty candid with one another. And although a lot of people don't see, we have our, if you will, wars or disagreements on the
Definitely.
back end that no one sees. But because we have a mutual, I'm a, I'm going to speak for her as well, a mutual respect for one another. We keep our friendship and our disagreements between us and how we handle it. Um, but we have an extremely huge love for one another, and I think that's very important.
Okay.
Absolutely. Um, what I value most in friendships is I would say honesty and trust. Um, I think it's important to not only for me to trust my friends, which I do, because if I'm not gonna have anybody around me that I don't trust, but
Mm-hmm.
it's important for my friends to trust me, particularly with the deepest parts of themselves, because I've been blessed to be for my friends, and you ladies are my friends. We've been friends for quite some time. Um, Trust me enough to be able to open up about things that they may not open up with everybody about. Um, Things they're going through, things they're feeling, experiencing. And so for me, having that trust with you all and you all with me is at the top of the list for me, because for almost every relationship is built on a foundation of trust. How can you really be friends with somebody that you don't trust,
Mm-hmm.
who don't
That's right.
trust to have your best interest at heart, who doesn't trust to they to keep your deepest, secrets that you may share and all of those things. And also, with me, opening up and sharing, and I'm trusting, my friends with that part of me as I bear my soul or whatever. I'm pretty I feel like I'm an open book. Do y'all think I'm an open book? I feel like I am. Do y'all think I'm an open book?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You do?
you
Do
are.
you think I'm on book, Lee Allison?
I think, especially now that you have your podcast,
Uh-huh.
yes.
You didn't think I was before?
No, I thought you were not that you were an open book, but that not that you were hiding anything, but I just knew a little bit about you. But now that you have your podcast, it's like you don't hold back. So, you let your feelings out there and you let them be known. So right now, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. No, and when I first met you, it's not that I thought you were like hiding anything. It's just that I didn't know you as well as I do now. So now I can say that you pretty much are let your feelings out.
Gotcha. It's funny because I'm an open book if you ask. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I I don't like if y'all know when we're out and we're kicking it or whatever. I'm just not just talking. I'm a listener, but it's not because I'm hiding nothing. A lot of them I have nothing to talk about. So,
Right.
I just kind of listen to everybody else. But if you ask me a question, if y'all were like now, if everybody were to go around and ask me a bunch of questions, I would openly answer them. So I think sometimes that's why people, are like, I didn't really know because, I'm like, well, I'm not that live, I'm not that lit. So,
Yeah.
they really didn't tell.
And that
So
goes back to when I first met you, remember? And we all went out to that club.
I would never forget that.
And I was like, oh my God, she dances, she
Tell
does
the
this.
story, Lee Allison, when we first met.
Yeah, I mean, she came to work and it's not like you were like quiet, but it was like you presented yourself as I don't even know how to say it. I mean,
Very
I just did
business.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said very business-like.
Yeah, just like strictly. I mean, she talked. She was normal, cool, but I just thought you were quiet. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. I thought you were quiet. I didn't think you went out to the club. I thought you were just. Oh my God, I can't. It's like I can't explain it. But when we went out and I saw you dancing and the guy who would never leave your side,
Yeah. My
I was
brother
like,
did.
and I told you this story already. How I was shocked that you were just outgoing because I thought you were like
Yeah.
reserved and quiet. So I guess
Yeah. I
that's what
never
I
forget
meant
the
by
look on your face. And you was like, you're dancing? I was like, it's a club, girl. What are you supposed to
I swear I thought you were just so quiet and like so busy.
do? I'm telling, look, I'm turned up and lit. It's so funny because Monica had that same impression of me.
Yeah, you told me
Yeah,
that.
she had that same impression of me. She was like, I thought you was quiet. I was like,
Mhm.
why do y'all think that? I am
Yes.
not quiet at all. Okay, you got
Yeah.
one more question for us since you just joined?
Oh yeah. I had another one.
Okay.
Let's see. I wrote down a couple, but what is like one of your deepest regrets in life? Like something you may have done, a route you may have taken, or anything. What is one of the deepest regrets that you have that's kind of pulls at your heartstring?
I'll let V go first.
Man, I'm gonna need you to go first. Hold on, I need to
I'll
think
go
on this
first.
one.
I'll go first. So, my deepest regret, I have two. That I'm gonna start with the first one. I regret how I handled the night my grandmother passed. Now, mind you, I was 15, I think. But to make a long story short, my grandmother worked second shift, 3 to 11. And I lived with my grandma and my grandfather. And um, she got off work. Yeah, I remember it was a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And I was asleep, of course. But I remember getting up and how my grandmother's house was at the end of the hall. It was a heater. Had like the space heaters back in the day. It
Mhm.
was a heater on the wall, and my room was at the end of the hall. So when I had to go to the bathroom, I had to cross over and go into another room to go into the bathroom. And I remember waking up about, I don't know, it had to be about 2 or 3 in the morning to go to the bathroom and look down the hall and notice that she was sitting in front of the heater,
Mm.
which was odd. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I remember looking down the hall saying, "Grandmother, is that you? Are you up?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, babe, I'm just sitting here, just sitting in front of the heater." And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, babe. Just go back to sleep. I'm fine." And it was odd because I had never seen her up by herself. It was dark. And I only knew she was there because of the glow of the heater. I could see the shadow of her sitting there. And so I was like, okay. So I went back to sleep. I had to go to school the next morning and went up, got up, went to school, told her goodbye. I loved her like I always did. Her and my grandfather went out. Um, And third period, they called me over the intercom, and they said, "Kanika, come to the attendance office." And I was like, "Come to the attendance office?" So I was like, "All right." So I get up, and how the school was, the attendance office was at the end of a long hall. So you open the door, and the it's all the way at the end. So I remember opening the door, and I saw all my cousins who were in older grades than me. I think I was in the ninth grade. They were all like juniors and seniors. I saw all my cousins at the end of the hall, and my like two of my aunts, and like they were crying. So I didn't know what, but I knew something was up. So I remember just dropping my bags and just running down the hall to the attendance office. And then so when I ran up, I was like, "What's going on? What's wrong? What's wrong, y'all?" And so one of the counselors, she pulled me inside the office. She pulled me inside the office. And she was like, "Kanika, your grandmother, she passed. She had a heart attack." And I was like, "No, I just saw her. I literally just left 2 hours ago and she was fine." And the counselor was like, "No." Then she's like, "No." And then my aunt came in and she confirmed it. And the only thing I remember is just falling to the ground. I don't remember much after that. Um, but when I look back on it, and I know when it's our time, and no one can stop that. God's plan. Whenever it's time for us to go, it's time for us to go. But sometimes I wish I had of did something differently that night. Whether call my mom, call my aunt, call my uncle. I wish I had of did something different than just because I felt like when I look back on it, I felt like she knew. I felt like she knew something was wrong, and she just didn't want to tell me, or she felt something. It was something. So I regret. I do wonder had I did something differently, had she still not, would she be here, or would she have been here with me longer? Because she was the love of my life, and losing her just changed the course of. Yeah, look, I get it, I understand it, but losing her really did changed the course of my life, and it put a hole in my heart that still hasn't healed. It's always a hole in our heart. I walk around with it, don't really tell nobody, but yeah. So sometimes I wish I had did that differently. And the second thing, I wish I had went to a HBCU. I wish I went to school straight out of school. I wish I went to like Howard or some lit shit like that. So, so yeah, those are my two biggest regrets.
Okay.
For me, I wish I would have had more conversation with my mother before she passed. Um, just to get more information on what her life was like. Allow her to be more comfortable with me to have a conversation on who my father is, or give me something regarding my father, because I really didn't get any information at all regarding my father. So I would have to say that's probably my biggest regret. Just not, I was young, I was in my 20s. So, and I was angry at her. So I didn't get a chance to really sit down and have an in-depth conversation with her. So that's what I would have to say.
Good questions, Lily. Did we
Yeah.
did we answer them?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Chris, we'll go one more round and I'll let y'all beautiful people stop around the 9 o'clock hour. What you got, Chris? Oh, we got okay. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Chris.
something in this chat.
Okay, just for all the possibles out there, so they can understand. what would be, or what is your number one deal breaker in a relationship uh, for you to, back out? Like, I can't do that. He did that thing.
That's a good question.
Inquiring minds.
Number one deal
Number
breaker.
one thing.
I would have to say at the beginning phase at this point, early on, I would have to say non-consistency. That's a deal breaker for me. If you can't be consistent, then this is pointless. It would be pointless.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. For me, I don't like men who are like, if I meet you and you're cold, like you're cold, you're not affectionate. I don't feel any energy off of you. I don't feel any light coming from you. I don't, I don't, I can't proceed forward. If I'm in a relationship and something that I see that I'd be like, oh no, I gotta go. Um, I don't like liars. Like we can work together if you be honest about whatever it is, whatever you got going on or whatever you want to do or whatever you into, be honest with me about it. So give me at least let me know what I'm dealing with, but like I don't like people who live double lives. Don't live a double life. Be you, be you. Allow me to give me the chance to at least decide whether it's something that I can deal with because I might be into that too. You never know. So if I find out you being dishonest about something or you're living a double life or you wearing a mask and you're not being your authentic self, which usually that doesn't happen because I can kind of feel that. I very good with discernment, but yeah, just lying. I don't like liars and I don't like men who are cold. So yeah, those are out the doors for me, Chris. For sure. Okay. Is that good?
Ooh.
That'll work.
Okay. Otto, what you got?
So, how has the show helped you with your dating? 'Cause I know you guys did the interracial experiment and,
Yeah.
things like that. So, how has putting your personal dating lives in the public eye, how has that helped you with actually dating other than sleeping through dates?
You want to go or you want me to go?
You can go first, V.
Okay. For my dating life, to tell you the truth, um, guys have been intimidated once they watch the show when it comes to me. Like I feel like they don't know how to communicate with me after they've seen me be candid. I'm not quite sure what they perceived me to be when they first met me, but
And you would
once they,
think that because you're honest, it would make it easier.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
but
know?
that hasn't necessarily been the case for me. Once they watch the show, then I'm not sure. They fearful, scared, don't know what to say to me, don't really know how to move, don't know how to really take me after that. That's been my experience so far with the show. So for me, I try not to, if I meet you and it has nothing you don't know about the show, then I usually don't. I'll just tell you I have a podcast, but I won't say, let me send you a link or do you want to listen in? Like, I don't usually give them that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
For me, honestly, Otto, it hasn't affected my dating life because I don't date. Otto, I really don't. No, people will be surprised because honestly, people have a perception of me that I'm like, got all these men and everybody after me, and I be here sleep on the weekend. I don't have. I'm not even seeing anybody. I have no dates. I'm not seeing anybody. Maybe it's the show. Maybe the show's running them off. I don't
I
know,
mean, I was
but
about to ask, do you think that the show
it
is
could
they're like,
be.
nah, I can't step to her.
It could very well be. It could be. Um, It could be that. It could be that maybe something I don't know, but I
But you know
don't.
what? It's a
I'm
good
not
thing
dating.
because I've always learned if it's not the right person or the right time, don't go chasing.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I'm I'm glad you said that because I'm in such an amazing place in my life. I'm at complete peace. Like I don't feel just because I'm not seeing anybody, I'm not dating anybody. I don't feel like I'm missing nothing, or I don't feel lonely. I don't
no,
feel
that's
alien. I have an amazing life with plenty of people and lots of love. And whenever, if ever that man presents himself, that day will come and we'll do our thing. But right now, I'm just chilling. I do my show. I go to school, I go to work, and I hang out with my friends and my family, and I sleep, and that's good with me. So, yeah, it really hasn't had a major effect because I ain't seeing nobody. So, but that's a good question. Good question. All right, Miss Karina, what you got?
All right. So you've known a lot of us for a long time, like just women in general, friends, the whole group of us, because it's about 5 million of us when we really all get together.
It is.
That's
It
true.
What
is.
advice would you give to your friends about life? Like you've seen us, because some of us, you the life coach, and you've seen us go through, ups and downs and just be very honest and candid. But also you sat there because, like you say before, you'll won't speak a lot, you'll just listen.
Yeah.
So I know it's been things that like in the realm of the girlfriends and all of us hanging out, even the guy friends and the girlfriends together, and we all hang out.
Yeah.
What advice would you give us?
If I had to give any advice to any of my friends, I would say um two things. Know that you're good enough, that you're worthy of everything. Don't ever let anybody tell you you don't deserve something, whether it's love, whether it's to be rich, whatever that your thing is. And also love yourself and choose you. Like don't allow people to make you feel bad for choosing you, doing what's best for you, loving yourself, and wanting the best and knowing that you deserve the best out of life, whatever that is. If you feel like you want to get you a Maserati and that's what get it. Do what you do. If you feel like that's it, don't let society and people and your family and your friends make you feel bad for wanting the best in life because you deserve it and you got to know it and you got to stand on it because that's the only way you got to get it. You can't have what you don't think you deserve. That's why, and I see this a lot with women. Women will say stuff like this. Um, I like him and I'm not even trying to be his girlfriend. I'm just trying to kick it. No, but you really do want to be his girlfriend. You deserve to be his wife. So don't like shortchange yourself. Don't shortchange yourself. Say what you want and stand on it. Stand on that because that's how you bring it forth. That's how you create it. You got to stand on it. You got to move in that and know that you deserve it. And
speak it into existence.
you got to. That's the only way you create it. And a lot of times I think because particularly as black women, we have been kind of conditioned to accept less. Or, we saw mama and aunties and all of them settle for less and and take care of everybody but themselves. So it's kind of conditioned in us. That's what you're supposed to do. But no, that's not what you're supposed to do. God wants you to have the best. And it's okay to know that you deserve the best. So for me, that would be my advice to women. Love yourself unapologetically and know that you're worthy of everything that God has for you. So, all right.
Uh, for me, it would be create boundaries for yourself. So just really piggybacking off of what Kanika just said, create boundaries for yourself and speak your truth. No matter what anybody says, who cares what they say?
Mm-hmm.
Always speak your truth, whatever
Absolutely.
that is.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Okay, that's good. Got one more. We're gonna go with Lealis, and then we'll do one more question for each of you, and then we'll end the show. What you got, Lily?
So I'm going to make this a little bit personal.
Okay, all
Put you
right.
guys on the hot seat.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you value most out of my friendship to you?
Oh, I love you, Lee Allison. You are the most candid, honest, centered person I have ever met in my life. And I appreciate you and I'm thankful for you. You
Oh,
keep me centered. I don't know if you realize that, but you and your tone and how you speak, you keep me centered.
wow.
You're going to get me crying, Lee
Oh,
Allison. But yeah, I really appreciate you a
thank
lot.
you. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
sweet. Thank you. You don't get me crying. We all gonna be crying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And for me, Lee Allison, and Vanita will vouch for this because I say it all the time when her and I conversation. You are the sweetest friend I have. You're the purest
Yes.
friend I have. Like
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
the one of the most genuine souls, and I know a lot of people.
Mm.
I know a lot of
Yeah.
people. One of the most genuine souls I have ever met.
Oh,
Just all around sweetheart, want the best for everybody.
Hmm.
Don't say nothing bad about nobody. Even when people are not even treating you probably the way they should, you're always giving them
Hmm.
the benefit of the doubt. You're trying to love them through whatever they're going through. Just a genuinely good person. And I'm so
Yes.
thankful that you and I met and you asked me to go to the club, girl.
Yes.
Asked me to go to the club.
oh, y'all are so sweet. Thank you so
And
much.
we
It
became
means a lot.
friends. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
That
do.
really do mean a lot to me, and I feel the same way about you guys also. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. All right, one last quick question for each of you, and then we're gonna go ahead and end the show. What you got, Chris?
I can't follow that. What are y'all doing? This is supposed to be the last question.
Look,
Cut it
I
out.
want to know
Chris,
Cut
the
it
like,
out,
same
wait
man.
a
thing.
minute,
Hold on, wait
hold
a minute.
on.
I
I
want to
mean,
ask the
I
same
don't got
question.
nothing.
Okay, so how about we switch it? Instead of a question, do you guys have any advice for us?
Or any comments you want to make
Yeah,
about
or comments. Yeah.
what is there anything y'all want to say to us about our friendships? One something
Yeah.
y'all think about us, feel about us. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll do that. So y'all,
We'll do that.
how
Okay.
do you all feel or think about us? We'll start with Chris.
Yeah.
Um, well, I would just say I am happy for y'all and glad that y'all are taking this journey with seemingly someone who can partner with you and you can do well with. So I just wish y'all the best. Um, and I will be here to support y'all in any way that I can. And
Thank
y'all
you.
got the number. Y'all just call and I'll be there.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It really means a lot when you all join the show because I know y'all got things to do, could be doing other things. So it
Hmm.
really means a lot to me that y'all take the time to come here and chat with us. And trust me, as this journey continues, I will never forget it. I'm very aware who has been there for me at
Exactly.
the beginning. I appreciate this. I appreciate that. Okay, Otto,
My
what you got?
pleasure.
So I guess, for me, I don't have many friends who I can say I've known a couple of decades. And, Vanita pretty much applies. We so it has been wonderful watching the two of you grow and develop in numerous ways that I never foresaw. You know, her going multiple places outside of the country was like, wait, what?
Right.
Hold on. You're going to do what? Zip lining in Costa Rica? Who am I talking to right now?
Yeah.
So it's been cool seeing this journey that both of you have undertaken, and I'm just excited to be along for the ride.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. We appreciate you and your unwavering support. Now,
Yeah.
trust me, every time you're in the comments, every time you leave a comment, every time you tuned in, I pay attention. Trust me,
Hmm.
I take mental notes of everybody who supports me. And I thank you, thank you. Thank you. And trust me, it
Yes.
will never ever be forgotten when I blow up. Believe
For
that.
sure. For
So
sure.
thank you. Miss Karina, what you got?
What do I have for y'all? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I've known you guys for quite a long time. And I just want to thank y'all for helping me look at myself to be a better person, look within myself to grow and to have this good, just be good, have good energy, have good just flow in me. Because it took me, you don't meet a lot of women, black, white, I don't care. You don't meet girlfriends like that want to see you go to the next level or the highest level, or like, fuck it, there is no level. So I just want to tell y'all both thank you. I always appreciate it, even though sometimes I do get mad, but anyway. But that's just a process. But yes, thank you for everything. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I gotta say is thank you for everything. I sit there, ask for the advice, ask the questions, or say something out the side of my face, and y'all be like, I know you didn't just say that. What does that mean? Just like helping me within myself, just to see better and bigger and brighter things for myself. Like I'm not going to be stuck. Like knowing my worth and believing in my worth. And that's what I want and what I want to get and what I want to do. So yes, I just want to say thank y'all.
Oh,
You're definitely welcome,
love
babe.
you.
Always.
Yeah, love you, Mama.
Yes.
Love you too.
Friends for life.
Y'all right.
Lily, what you got, Nona?
Yeah, I just would like to say that I just value the friendship that you have, both of you guys have, with the circle that I've seen. It's like you don't find women like that really, like Karina said, that truly are genuinely happy for you in the things that happen, and also are transparent, like the talks we've had. I've seen you guys be transparent with people, and Karina also, when we've sat down and had conversations, and you guys are just so to me honest and loving and caring, and you just don't find that, and I've never really had those type of friends in my life. So I just want to tell y'all thank y'all too.
You're
Sorry.
welcome. Well, we're gonna be
You're
like
welcome,
100 and
babe.
some years old in
We
October.
are.
Okay?
For
Yes,
sure.
ma'am.
We'll be like this.
Yep.
You're like, girl, where
Most
you going?
definitely.
Oh, wait for me.
Exactly.
My
Exactly.
battery ain't charged in my hover round. Give me a second.
Exactly. Yeah, we gonna ride
Exactly.
this thing till the wheels fall off for
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly.
And I feel
Most
the same way
definitely.
about you ladies. You ladies really do make my life beautiful and bright. And I think I'm so grateful, that I do have the beautiful group of girlfriends that I do have, because it's not very common, particularly as many as I have, and to be all as close with them as I am. I treasure that. That's why I have the get-togethers. It's really not necessarily because I do like to party, but I really have the get-togethers. No, I do. I have my parties because I want to. I'm very cognizant of time and the short time we all have here on this earth. So I want to spend as much time with the people that I love, as I can. And what better way is to get them all in one room,
That's true.
you know, so I can love on all of them at one time. So that's why, yeah. So that's why I like to truly have get-togethers, because I just love y'all so much. I just really do. So, and I thank y'all for all these years of beautiful friendship and beautiful memories and brunches and parties and sleepovers and all the things we've done and
And
all the
Yes.
things
trips
that
and
trips, yeah,
all
trips. Me and Karina jumped in the car one day and rode to Myrtle Beach.
that.
just
Yeah.
stuff like that, that we've
Mhm.
done over the years is you cannot pay $1 million for the love that I get from all of you. So I'm very thankful and blessed for that. So I think we'll go ahead, and that's a good way to end the show. You have anything else, Vanita?
No, just thank you guys. I definitely appreciate all you guys more than you know. Definitely more than you know.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
More
Yeah,
than words can ever express. I thank you all.
exactly.
Thank you all, Chris, all of y'all for joining as always. It's always a blessing to that y'all take your time to come on and share your thoughts and feelings, and I appreciate that so
Wait, we
much.
have a choice.
Uh,
Real funny, Otto.
yeah. Thank you for everybody in chat. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in.
Right.
Everybody who will watch the playback. Thank you for all your
Yes.
support. If you're new, please subscribe because, like I said, it is a new podcast. So I'd appreciate your support. And yeah, so I will see all of you this weekend, right? I'm gonna see y'all on
Yeah.
Saturday. Be ready to play these games.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all Saturday at my party. And good night, y'all.
Good
Good
night,
Bye.
y'all.
night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.